So, hi everyone. Good to see you. Welcome wherever you are in the world. So, for today's happy hour practice, I wanted to invite us to consider the practice of forgiveness. Forgiveness, which is one of the beautiful practices of the heart. It's an act of generosity of the heart when the heart lets go of rocks, a rock that it has been carrying. And in some ways, we can think of actually forgiveness practice is another aspect, is another dimension of metta, loving kindness. How so? So, if you consider metta, loving kindness, cultivating goodwill, as the generosity of our heart, as a generosity of care towards ourselves, towards others. This act of generosity can explain itself, can express itself in a generosity of letting go of something that has been carried when the time is right, to know that forgiveness cannot be rushed, cannot be pushed, cannot be forced, but it can be cultivated the same way that kindness and goodwill can be cultivated. They can't be forced, but they can be cultivated as we turn our minds gently towards kindness, turn gently towards generosity of goodwill. It tends to become, as the Buddha says, the proclivity of our minds. Whatever you ponder upon frequently becomes the tendency, the inclination of your mind, says the Buddha. So we can incline our minds, our hearts, towards kindness, goodwill, trusting that, it will become the proclivity of our heart, our minds. The same way with forgiveness. We incline our mind, our heart towards forgiveness, not forcing, not saying, okay, now forgive, let go, now you have to. That's not the idea. That can become really forced. Whereas if we incline, if we turn our mind, may it be possible, is it possible to let go? Is it possible to forgive in this moment? Inclining our minds, our hearts to make it more possible. It is said that there is this saying that is said for awakening, that awakening is an accident and meditation makes you more accident prone. So in the same way, we can think of forgiveness, kindness, love, all of these can be accidents that just the heart opens up to, right? The heart can open up to forgiving. And this meditation, these cultivation practices make us more accident prone. They set the conditions for these beautiful gifts to occur on their own. One last thing I want to say before we practice is there are different dimensions to forgiveness, and we will explore a subset of them today. Maybe we'll do more in the next sessions. There is forgiving ourselves, there is forgiving others, there's asking forgiveness from others in our hearts, maybe not in person, but in our hearts. And then the fourth aspect is offering forgiveness to the causes and conditions that brought you and another being or another group of beings in entanglement, in some kind of entanglement. So forgiving the causes and conditions that you can't control. And that's that's where wisdom, really the wisdom practice comes in with the forgiveness practice, is acknowledging that, yep, not all of these causes and conditions are within our control. So we'll explore perhaps one or maybe more of them today. We'll see how it goes, because I want to leave a lot of silent space also for our settling and arriving today as we practice. So, without further ado, let's engage. Let's engage with our practice. So, I'd like to invite you to get into your meditation posture, whatever your body needs in this moment. Sitting upright, or lying down, shifting, moving, whatever the body needs. And first, we arrive with the breath, with the body, just settling, tilling the soil before we turn our attention. The topic at hand, just to arrive, just to settle. Turning our gaze inward, connecting with the breath. Letting go, letting go. As much as possible, offering up the thoughts, the cares, the worries, the activities that have come before, all the words, and just connecting with the breath and the body in this moment. Taking refuge in the simplicity and the beauty and the grace of this moment of being alive. And just sitting and breathing, being breathed. This is enough. This is enough in this moment. Just this breath is enough. Just this in-breath is enough. And in the enoughness, there's a sacredness, beauty. As if entering this moment's experience with awe. We're all Alice's in Wonderland. This breath, this moment's experience is a wonderland. This breath, breathing itself, not to be taken for granted. And if thoughts are arising, it's okay. Noticing, noticing the balloons of thought. It's if you're opening your hand, letting go of the strings. Let them float away, letting go, releasing. Feeling lighter. And if the thoughts feel heavy like rocks, can we not hold them, weighed down by them, but just respectfully, lovingly put them down for now? Thank you. Not now. Pick you up when I have more space. Not now. Not now. Now I would like to invite you, as we incline our minds or hearts towards the practice of forgiveness, I'd like to invite you to bring to mind an image of yourself as a beloved other. This image could be of you at this time, at this age, or a different age, maybe younger. See what brings up a sense of connection for you, the present image or past. And you can explore going back and forth. You don't have to stick to one if one doesn't work. Connecting with the felt sense of yourself as this beloved other, this being who has goodness, who has kindness, has good intentions, and aspires to live according to values that they hold, that they uphold, they hold dear. This being who has gifts, capacities, aptitudes, in the ways they show up in the world. And seeing, appreciating this person's goodness, inner radiance, the ways they are generous, the ways they are kind, the ways they are thoughtful, or whatever the gifts are. That you well know. And also connecting with the ways this being, this image of yourself as a beloved other, the way they suffer, the challenges they have physically, with their body, emotionally, relationally. Appreciating, connecting with the complexity of their inner life, their goodness, their challenges. And for any ways that in the past you have not seen this beloved other fully. For all the ways you have neglected them, perhaps, forsaken them, haven't treated them well, haven't been kind to them, have berated them, have been judgmental. Asking for forgiveness for all the ways that I have harmed you, dear beloved other, who is me, for all the ways I have unknowingly harmed you. I ask you for forgiveness. For all the ways, knowingly or unknowingly, I have harmed you by choosing what's not best for you in action, in deeds, in thoughts, in words. I ask you for your forgiveness. In any ways I have abused you, in body, in thoughts, in speech. In any ways I have forsaken you or abused you, I am sorry. I ask for your forgiveness. in any ways that I haven't been kind or generous to you. I ask for your forgiveness. For any ways I haven't completely seen you, your fullness, your grace, your capacities, your strength, your inner beauty, your inner light have undermined you. Taken you for granted. I ask for your forgiveness. In any ways that I have harmed you, knowingly or unknowingly, out of my ignorance, short-sightedness, not knowing any better. I haven't cared for you, protected you. I ask for your forgiveness. Now see if it's possible to shift perspectives. And looking at yourself from this perspective of this beloved other that is you, in your full beauty, grace, the fullness of your being, in the fullness of your being, with access in ways that may not be fully understandable to you, fully access, fully accessed to your kindness, forgiveness. looking at yourself in your humanity, in your common humanity, doing the best you can, doing the best you can to navigate in this life with all the causes and conditions of your life. And as much as possible, offering forgiveness. In all the ways I've been harmed, knowingly or unknowingly, not being protected, being stood up for, being undermined, not cared for, berated, judged. As much as possible in this moment, as much as it's available to me, I forgive you. I offer you forgiveness. Fully knowing the causes and conditions of your life, of this life, of my life, that you've been doing the best you've been able to. I offer myself forgiveness. See which direction works better for you, you can better connect with. I'll stick with you. I let go as much as possible and forgive. For all the ways I've been harmed, not seen fully, not appreciated fully. Making peace with you, making peace with myself. You know you've been doing the best you've been able to. If you could have done any better, you would have. As much as possible in this moment, I forgive you. And for the last moments of this practice, however this practice period was, whether there was sleepiness, distracted thoughts, judgments. Releasing, offering forgiveness to yourself. It was exactly as it had to be. Releasing, letting go. May all beings be free, including ourselves. Thank you for your practice. So, forgiveness. Forgiveness. So the practice we did today, is perhaps the most important aspect of this practice, which is the relationship to ourselves, forgiving ourselves, asking forgiveness to ourselves. And of course, we can do this practice. May I love and forgive myself just as I am, forgiving ourselves, which is lovely. We can explore that later. And this other way of actually seeing ourselves as this beloved other with capacities, with beauty, with grace that we often don't kind of see when we're looking inside, but seeing it in another, like, wow, this being that is me. There is so much light in this being. And then asking for forgiveness relationally, and then turning and looking at ourselves from this perspective and offering forgiveness can be quite powerful. Can be. For some, can be very powerful. Some may not connect to it like any other practice. So I offer it in this way. Yeah, I think what this brings up is a shift in perspective, because again, we take ourselves for granted, whereas this it invites another way of seeing ourselves, which we usually don't, may not be available in our common way of relating. So happy to hear your reflections, what insights came up, what you discovered. If you'd like to share, or if any questions you'd like to ask, you can type them in chat. If you type them to me privately, I won't say your name. One of you just typed, loved it. You're welcome. Another one typed, thank you, that was great. Lovely. I am so glad. I'm so glad that it worked for those of you who connected with it. And of course, you can raise your Zoom hand if you like to share your reflections, insights, and questions. If it's your physical hand, I may not see you. I'll take a pause. And again, if you type it publicly in chat, I'll say your name. If not, it'll be private. Yeah, Harley says that was powerful, but also challenging. Tough to forgive oneself. Yes. Yes, it is. It is. Actually, forgiving ourselves is often the most challenging category. It is. Absolutely. Neil says, I found myself hugging myself. Ah, comforting myself for all the ways I've harmed myself. It was lovely. Oh, thanks for sharing that, Neil. Oh, I want to hug myself reading that. Oh, so much tenderness there. Ah, Linda says, very refreshed and was able to visualize me forgiving myself and accepting the offer. Beautiful. Another reflection, private. It was hard to stay there, so that makes me think it was very much helpful. Beautiful. And I invite you to consider this practice again. If the mind especially didn't want to be there. Another reflection, private. I noticed I become distracted and irritated when faced with forgiving myself. Yeah, similarly, if there's something there, if irritation is arising and distraction and irritation, the mind doesn't want to go there. It's be kind, be gentle. That's the pointer that there's definitely something there to stay with this practice. Kyla says, conceptually very difficult at first, a metta stretch. Yeah, yeah, it absolutely is. Thank you for that reflection. Melissa says, this was beautiful. Thank you. I felt myself as beloved, other feeling love and compassion toward the part of myself asking for forgiveness. Beautiful. Thank you for that reflection, Melissa. FM says, this visualization also made me think of all the ways I've supported and cared for myself too. Beautiful. And recognize that there's gratitude for myself at moments as well as forgiveness. Yay. That's lovely. That is just so lovely, that insight that comes up for appreciation and gratitude. Beautiful. Bill says, this practice would have been harder a year ago, but doing metta over the past year has allowed me to forgive myself to an extent. Yay! Yay! I celebrate that with you, Bill. Yay! The practice of metta, really cultivating. And one more reflection. Jerry says, helpful to have moments of kindness to myself, and was enlightened even today of how I may have harmed myself in my racing periods today in a meeting. Oh, that's wonderful to have kindness, to see that. Carol says, loved, loved, loved. Thank you. Yeah. And Gurgle says, thank you. And mucho metta from Ireland. Oh, thanks, Gurgle. It's in the middle of the night for you. Lovely that you're joining us. And I see Nick and Violet have one of them has their hand up. Please.
Hi. My comment's kind of similar to two of them in the chat around yeah, I was like looking in my recent past for a moment to like forgive myself for treating myself badly. So I was looking for like, okay, what's something I've done recently where I was like berating myself or like doing something against my values or somehow betraying myself. And I couldn't find anything very readily. And I was like, wow, that is a big difference than me really at any other point in my life. So yeah, like what Bill said about like the difference of doing metta for a year, like I really don't have as like I'm just not betraying myself as much as I used to. It's like well-being is like it's created its own momentum. Like a ship that's now like heavy enough that it's not so easily like blown off course. And I saw this thing on gratitude the other week that was like, don't forget how badly you once wanted what you have right now. And I'm like, wow, yeah, I didn't, yeah, I feel grateful for the stability. So this helped me tap into that. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you, Violet. That makes me so happy. I'm filled with mudita. Just thank you for your beautiful reflection. And yeah, there's nothing more I can say. Beautiful. Thank you. Testimony to your practice. Yeah. One last reflection from Carol. Loving yourself takes so long, so multifaceted. Such a beautiful sitting. Oh, thank you, Carol. Oh, thank you. Mm. Yeah, and appreciation for Violet from Bill and Jerry. That's great. Yeah, and especially loving being grateful for what you have now. Yeah. Yay. Yay. So let's take the sense of gratitude for what we have now and forgiveness, and let's practice together now in Sangha. The rubber meets the road. And let's start with 15 seconds of silent metta practice, and then share whatever feels authentic to you, whatever you like to share, as much as or as little as you like to share. And yeah, let's do that. Let's start by Okay, I'm going to open the rooms. Actually, one more second. I need to shift some things. Last minute shifts always happen. Okay, one more minute. You can do metta for me as I quickly try to do this. Ah, here we go. All right, dear ones. Oh, one more. Okay, here we go. I'm opening the rooms. Enjoy practicing together. Okay, welcome back, everyone. The rooms are closed. So we have about a minute for any final reflections. If you'd like to share what came up for you, especially practicing in groups. So please don't be shy. You can either type or raise your hand. Oh, somebody, I see a clap. Let's see. Oh, it went away. I'm not quite sure who that was. Because I can't, let's see. Please do that again if you're trying to raise your hand. Oh, there, it's Kim. Okay, there you go.
Sorry about that.
It's all good.
It was a great practice. It was very helpful. I was telling my partners in the small groups that I was working on forgiving myself, but I still had some tightness in my stomach. And they were quite lovely. And then when we came back, I realized it was gone. Like it just went. So thank you, partners in group.
Oh, that just delights me to no end. Yes, practicing inside. Thanks so much for sharing that, Kim. That is so sweet. That makes me so happy. Let's see. A few last comments here. Marily says, thank you. I feel totally different from how I felt an hour ago. Uplifted and happy and grateful. Yay! Hence happy hour. Please come back again early. That's great. Sherry says, aware of psychological safety and vulnerability of the range. And the small group. That's lovely, the psychological safety that you're talking about. And I think this is what allows this softening that was just shared a moment ago. So and Melissa says, this was my first time attending. Yay. And I found it so welcoming and personally meaningful and moving. Thank you. Great, Melissa. Welcome. And please come back again. Please come and join our Sangha. You're part of the Sangha now. And oh, yes. Jerry says, not range, but rather Sangha. Yes. Says of the Sangha. Yes. Yes. Sounds good. Anyway, dear ones, we're out of time. So thank you. Thank you so much for your practice, for showing up and doing this cultivation, not just for yourself, but for all beings whose lives you touch. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free, including ourselves. Thank you.